Welcome everyone to episode 9 of Around the Book. Um, I'm not even gonna beat around the bush or anything. We're still down bad. It's still I don't know what we need to do here. I feel like every week is starting the same way. I thought this was going to be the turn of the season for us, but I don't know. I'm not even going to say this week is going to be it, but I'm gonna try to be positive about it. Um, I'm mainly just upset with myself still. I thought I had some good picks. Obviously not. I got a little too confident in my home team or in my team I root for, and it just bit me in the ass. So I think I don't know. Do you guys have any gripes before we get started? I kind of just want to get into it and try to forget about last week.
Yeah, I got a little bit.
Okay.
What's this struggling?
Oh, that's my dishwasher. Oh, my bad.
You're good. So yeah, Saturday night, if you wrote my picks, was a roller coaster. With Duke and Utah, both looked great at about halftime, and then third quarter got a little rough, and then fourth quarter rolled around, and Duke just completely folded like a cheap lawn chair. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was embarrassing. And I actually, full disclosure, I did bet both the spread and money line on them. I kind of gave up on the money line by the end of the fourth quarter, but there were still 5 minutes left. They were only down 18, and they had the ball. You'd think you'd get a junk time touchdown, and they'd at least cover. But they didn't even try to score. That last drive, I don't know if any of you guys saw it, they did completely stop trying. They just gave up at the end of that game. Once Florida State went on a little bit of a run, they just completely packed it in. It was gutless, embarrassing. Just, I can't believe it. Duke's banned. Duke has made my band. You can't trust a team to cover that folds like that just packs it in. You can't trust that team. So Duke, along with the SEC, they're all banned. Duke and the entire Southeastern Conference are now on my banned list. So I guess we're just going to continue betting shitty Big 12 Big 10 football and the occasional 12 o'clock Pac-12 game.
Hey, don't sleep on the Sun Belt. Let's go.
Yeah, I know. Maybe that's what I need to. I did a little live bet last night with New Mexico State, and it ended up hitting. So I was excited about that, and I was like, maybe I just need to go with these teams that no one thinks of. So
yeah, Sunbelt's actually been somewhat profitable for me this year, betting James Madison.
Yeah, and I'm just I think we're just marking the blue bloods off of our football betting. I'm never going to bet on Kentucky. You're never going to bet on Duke. I think mine's going to stem into college basketball. I don't know about you, but yeah, there's two teams out of the blue bloods that we're getting rid of. JT, Jake, did you guys have any gripes from the weekend?
I don't have a gripe. Just I feel like I'm losing a grip on reality in the NFL. I lost 6 NFL bets on this show in a row. I'm 0-6 in my last 6 NFL. And my first, week going into week 8. So my first 5 weeks, I was consistently 11-5 picking against the games. And then these last 2 weeks, I was 8-8 and then 6-10. I'm just spiraling on what good teams are in this league. So just need to take a step back, try and get a couple of layups this week, big spreads.
Yeah.
And try and reevaluate my life. This is brutal.
Yeah, I know. Seeing your NCAA record and then seeing that you have the same NFL record as me makes me feel a little bit better about myself, I guess.
My NCAA record should be worse, I feel like. Because last week when I picked South Florida going to UConn, it was 2.5. I felt good about that. I think we all felt good about that. And then every day, literally after I made that pick, the line moved. It was 2. Then it was 1.5. And then by kickoff, it was even money. It was a pick'em game. I'm like, oh God, what do people in Vegas know that I don't know about this game? And sure enough, that game was down to the wire. UConn controlled it most of the way, and South Florida just barely squeaked out a win and a cover. So Vegas is just so good at this, man. They knew the big money bettors, the Sharks. They knew, and I'm just sitting here watching that line move. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be bad for me.
Yeah, it was. I like college football this year seems a little bit different from the past 10 years, which is there's no definitive. There's a few definitive teams that we know are good, but there's no team that's just sticking out. I think it's kind of converting into the NFL as well this year, which is odd to me. I mean, obviously the Chiefs are still the Chiefs and all that, but it just the football feels a little bit off this season. Anyone can get beat, it seems, this week at any week.
I felt like everyone got beat last week. The Bills lost to the Patriots, the Niners lost to the Vikings. I mean, I know Jake and I had different sides of the Lions game, but I wasn't expecting a 40-point rout of the Lions.
I was happy with it because of my bet, but I definitely thought it was gonna be way closer.
Yeah,
this week was just turned upside down for me.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah, this week is just. Let's just forget about it and move on.
Yep.
It was a wash. Yeah. All right, so we'll get into our college picks. I'm going to start off with my lock of the week. And speaking of Kentucky, I'm going to go Tennessee -3.5 at -110. UK is terrible. I know that their record, I think they're 5-2 right now, but they're hitting their season stride, which they do ever since Stoops has come in, where they'll run off 4 or 5 wins. Everyone gets excited thinking this is Kentucky's year, and then they'll lose 4 or 5 games. So this is just more of the same. I think Tennessee has a better team overall. I mean, I think this line, it scares me a little bit because it's -3.5, and it's just so low, and I don't get it because I was expecting it to be more 7.5, 8.5, but -3.5, I'm going to jump all over that. I think Tennessee actually ends up winning by double digits, but we'll see about that. But that's my lock. And then my underdog, I'm going to go with Kansas money line at +290. Kansas has been better than they have in the past. The past few years, they've really shown that they got a good core group there. They're building something. Oklahoma, how do I say this? I mean, they almost seem like frauds a little bit almost, just because they are 7-0. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's this season, it's hard to be undefeated with just the craziness. But when they beat Texas, I mean, everyone was saying Texas was back. Texas is back. The same, it wasn't the same Texas team that they beat. So that almost kind of detracts from the amazingness that everyone's surrounding Oklahoma with. And I think this could be a trap game for them where Kansas comes in, punches them in the mouth. And I don't know if I don't think they've really been tested too much outside of the Texas game. So I really like Kansas in this one, especially how Kansas played the past couple of weeks. I think they're really looking to get back on track and put some points on the board.
I like that Kansas-Oklahoma game. That feels like a real Kansas having a punter chance kind of game. It's going to be offense. And when you're getting double-digit points in a game like that, I don't know if it's going to hit or not. It probably will. But either way, it's going to be fun to watch. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good back-and-forth shootout.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma might be of all the undefeated Power Fives out there. Still, I think Oklahoma's the weakest.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I'll retract this. I don't think they're necessarily frauds. They just don't. I don't know. They don't feel like a 7-0 team to me.
No, not at all.
They're Big 12 7-0.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
they They haven't really played anyone other than Texas, and they caught Texas in a rivalry game.
Yep. And Texas isn't as they're not back like everyone keeps saying.
But their marquee wins look worse every week. I mean, that
Yeah.
Alabama win just literally continues to look worse and worse.
Yeah. So I feel comfortable with the Kansas pick, and plus it was at plus 290, so I'm just gonna give it a shot here.
Great value.
Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll roll with my picks. My lock this week in college football is going to be USC minus 11 at Cal. USC's lost 2 in a row. Caleb Williams looked awful against Notre Dame, had a little bit of a bounce back last week. But we've seen USC just blow out bad and mediocre teams. And Caleb Williams has struggled with physical defenses like Utah and Notre Dame. Cal is not a good team. They're average at best. So this feels like a big bounce back spot for USC. Caleb Williams trying to get back on top of that Heisman race. I think they're going to sling the ball around and put up a bunch of points on Cal. So I think this is going to be a comfortable multi-touchdown victory for them.
Yeah.
And then I'm staying in the Pac-12. I'm going Utah plus 6.5 hosting Oregon. 2 teams. They're 6-1. They're both really good teams. I think this is going to be a really good matchup. Utah at home, that's a tough place to go and play. You know, they could win this game outright. I'm expecting this to be a really competitive football game. So if you're giving the home team almost a touchdown in points, who is one of the best teams in the country, I'm taking those points. So I'm just looking forward to this one. This is going to be a good game. I'm expecting it to be really, really competitive down to the wire.
I like the USC pick a lot. I like that pick. I feel like the Pac-12 is one of the safer conferences to pick. I feel like that's one of the few conferences we're starting to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually staying in the Pac-12 for my lock this week. However, I am going head-to-head with you, JT, this week. My lock is taking Oregon minus 6.5. So I feel like there is a really clear pecking order in the Pac-12 right now. I think there's Oregon and Washington as both legit contenders. They're both complete teams. And then I think after them, you have the Utahs, the USCs, the UCLAs of the conference that are pretty good, but they're not complete. Like, they're really good on one side of the ball or the other, but just don't quite have it all together. I think what we've seen from Oregon is that they can do everything. They can play great defense, and their offense can move the ball well against most teams. I think that's going to be the difference. I don't see Utah being able to, like, Utah, they look great offensively against USC, but I mean, I think anybody can look great offensively against USC. I think Brian Ferentz could get 30 points on Utah. I mean, on USC. Not Utah, definitely
No one
not.
gets 30 points on Utah. Utah's a dog.
No. But yeah, I still don't trust Utah's offense. And I think playing against a team like Oregon, I mean, we saw Oregon take some high-flying offenses this year, like Colorado, for example, and just demolish them.
Mm-hmm.
That team's really good. I think they're going to cover this one. I think Utah also might be in for a letdown game after that win against USC. So I think there could be a bit of a hangover there. And if this game plays out the way it should with Oregon winning, I think covering a touchdown should be fine. So yeah, that's my lock this week. And then I'm going to move over to the Big 12 for my underdog pick this week. I'm taking West Virginia money line at plus 240 going against Central Florida. Central Florida, I think, is getting a little bit of a boost from the bookies this week because of how tough they played Oklahoma. But as we just talked about, Oklahoma's not like, yeah, they're top. Are they what top? They're 6th in the country right now. Is that what they're ranked?
I think
Are
they're
they ranked top
7.
5? 7, something like that. Yeah.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're 6.
6. Yeah. I think they were 7 and then jumped Penn State this week. But yeah, that playing Oklahoma close, I don't think really is that big of an indicator for Central Florida as we think, because I don't think they're that good. And even the fact that they played them close, I think you could see a letdown from them this week. West Virginia, on the other hand, they've played everyone tough this year. And I don't think they're that bad. I think this is a chance for them to kind of separate themselves, and a plus 240. I like the value there in what I think are 2 upper middle of the pack Big 12 teams. And I think, at worst, this is a toss up for West Virginia, and at plus 240, I'll take that part.
Yeah.
All right.
I am nervous with a head-to-head bet. I'm 0-1 in head-to-heads, and I just got obliterated. So be gentle here.
Yeah. I think I'm in college. I think I'm 1-0-1. I think in the head-to-heads this year. And then JT and I had the one, or Jake and I had the one. And then Casey and I had one where we both lost.
Yeah. I'm 0-1 in my head-to-heads in college.
Yeah, JT, get ready for Get ready
pain.
You're taking what, Utah?
I'm taking the points,
6
6.5.
You're taking the points. So I don't think there's any way we can both lose.
I don't think there is.
Woo!
Someone has to win.
One of us has to
Unstoppable force, movable object.
Hold on, JT.
There we go.
So what's you're taking the points?
Yeah, Utah plus 6.5 at home.
All right, and then Dalton, you're taking just
Oregon minus 6.5. See, no one can lose because there's no money line.
In
So
your
that's what happened to us,
man.
Casey. I took Notre Dame money line, and you took Ohio State
Yeah.
cover, and Ohio State only won by like 1.
Yeah. That's right.
And what's nice about this too, JT, is it's 6.5, so there's no push.
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. The half points are better.
Makes it nice and easy for me.
Yeah.
All right. So for my lock this week, I'm taking Michigan State plus 7 against Minnesota. Michigan State did not look very inspiring last week, and they didn't really give me much confidence to bet on them, but Minnesota gives me less confidence. They won last week pretty controversially, but they won. The offense did not look very good. And Michigan State just got destroyed by Michigan, but Minnesota also looked very bad against Michigan. And really, I just don't trust Minnesota's offense to be good enough to win by 2 scores in this game. I think this is going to be a pretty close one. I think there's a good chance Minnesota does win this game, but at plus 7, I don't think their offense is capable of covering that. And then for my underdog, I'm going to go with Kentucky money line plus 150 against Tennessee. Tennessee's last 2 road games in the SEC, they've lost by 2 touchdowns in each game. I think this is going to be one of the more entertaining games of the weekend. Both these teams are really good at running the ball. They both have very good running defenses. I think it's going to be a pretty evenly matched close game. And at plus 150, I like those odds for Kentucky.
All right, here we go. We're starting it again. Should have took the points, and one of us would have at least won. But hopefully,
Michigan State game. I like that pick. I believe that's a trophy game, actually, so that might help you out too, keeping it close.
Yeah.
I mean, plus Minnesota looked awesome last week in their uniforms. Those helmets are freaking dope.
They are.
Yeah, but that was such a big game for Michigan State, and they just no-showed. Like, that's a team that has no heart to them. They just folded.
But
the biggest game of the season for them.
I think we kind of all saw it coming.
Oh yeah, they're
We
bad,
didn't want
but
to.
quit.
Yeah, we didn't want to think it was going to happen, but we all knew it was going to happen. I think. They looked terrible. They had no desire to be out there.
You hate to see it.
Yeah,
Spartan dogs, no more.
I know. Maybe they'll make their mark again. They need another like Kirk Cousins type guy to come in, I guess.
Yeah, they're another program that just needs a total hard reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I lied. It's not a trophy game. It's Michigan and Minnesota that play for the little
Oh,
brown.
that's the little brown jug.
Oh yeah.
And Michigan State play for Paul Bunyan, the Paul Bunyan Trophy. I don't know why I thought there were multiple Paul Bunyan trophies and one involved Michigan State and Minnesota, but according to Wikipedia, there is no trophy.
What's the trophy for Wisconsin, Minnesota? I feel like that might be.
I want to say the Floyd of Rosedale off the top of my head. Wisconsin, Minnesota.
I would probably say you're right if that's what you're getting off the top of your head.
Nope, that's Paul Bunyan's act.
Okay, so
Paul
there's
Bunyan.
yeah, there's a Paul Bunyan and a Paul Bunyan X. So you're right. There's
There-
two Paul
there are
Bunyans out there.
multiple. Only the Big Ten would have multiple Paul Bunyan trophies.
Yeah.
That's such a niche trophy. I love it though. Those kind of things are what makes college football fun.
Only the Big Ten would have multiple football trophies celebrating a
Yeah.
mythical lumberjack.
All right. So I guess now that college is over, let's get into the NFL. I would like to think that the NFL we're starting to figure out what's going on, but at the same time, like we were saying, I think that like football is just weird this year, and that I know they've always said that the NFL is a week to week league, but it definitely is reigning true this year. I think a few teams that were starting hot are starting to hit their stumbling blocks. A few teams that we did not think were ever going to get off the ground are starting to heat up a little bit. So it's going to be interesting. But I'll start with my lock for this week. I think I'm actually really confident in this one. Commanders plus 6.5 against the Eagles. I have it at minus 105. I kind of think it might go positive here. I think that line's going to go up a little bit over the next few days. So definitely keep on the lookout for that. If you want to lock in at minus 6.5 or plus 6.5, I apologize. You might get it at some plus money. But I like the Commanders this week just because I think they played the Eagles very tough last time. Plus it's a divisional game. I just think that the Commanders, like JT, you got me on the Sam Howell hype. I think like he is a good quarterback in the NFL, I would say, as far as the league standard that there is. Like he's a little bit above average. He can throw the ball, he can get the plays going, or he can get the team downfield. I just think that 6.5 points against the Eagles, they've hit a few good games this year where they've blown a couple teams out, but other than that, they've played pretty close in all of their games. So I think the 6.5 points is going to be great for this one. My underdog, as you can see, I'm down almost 4 units in the NFL, so I didn't think it would be appropriate for me to go after like a plus 300 dog this week. I want to try to get on the board a little bit, so I got the Browns money line at plus 136 against the Seahawks. Seattle is turning a corner, just kind of like they did last year, where they kind of started off a little bit slow and then just picked it up as the season was going on. They're starting to do the same a little bit, but the Browns' defense is just unreal. When you see Myles Garrett doing a crossover move before he's about to like destroy your life, is probably the most intimidating thing you can like look at on a football field. The dude has no like regard for whoever's in front of him. And I think the Browns, like, if they make the playoffs, like they could go on a little run. I hate saying this because like we're so early in the season still for this talk, but like I can see the Browns making a deep playoff run with this team. I still think there's some question marks that they need to answer, and I think there are some things that they need to fix a little bit on the offensive side. But like that defense is just unreal, and I think that's going to carry them through and get this win.
That's
I like
one
those.
that was weird over the weekend. Colts put up like 38 points against that defense, which just dominated all season.
Dude, that's the Colts. I don't get it. The Colts will suck, but they'll play all these teams that are like good in the NFL and like either beat them or play them within 2 points or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely did not have Gardner Minshew, PJ Walker shootout against two great defenses on my bingo card last weekend.
Yeah.
That was just weird.
That's what I'm saying. The NFL is a week-to-week league. No, like, how could Gardner Minshew go out there and do that, but then the 49ers couldn't put up over 17 points? Like, just makes no sense.
Casey, this is exactly how we've spiraled to 4-10 in the NFL. This weird stuff.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm going to try to keep it a little modest here this week, but I feel like I've been doing that every week and it's still just blowing up my face.
Yeah, I like them this week though. I think the Commanders pick a lot.
Yeah,
I think them and the Eagles are always.
Yeah,
They beat the Eagles when they were undefeated last year, I think. But yeah, they always.
They did, yeah.
Games.
betting on NFC East chaos is always a safe bet.
Yeah.
Is that trend still going where like the same team hasn't won the division 2 years in a row in like a decade or something like that? Or did the Eagles break that last year?
No, they didn't win the division the year before, I don't think.
I think, yeah, I don't remember.
Did the Cowboys win it the year before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any teams won that division 2 years in a row in like a very long time.
Probably been a while. Was it like 3 or 4 years ago when like the first place team had like 8 wins?
Something like that.
Washington.
Yeah, it was Washington.
Yeah.
It's like
that's what I mean. Like Washington and New York, both like in the last 10 years have not been good. Yet I think both of them have 1 or 2 division titles.
Yeah. Yeah, they had like a 3 or they had like a 4 seed with 8 wins, and then like the wild card teams had like 11.
It was either going to be Washington with I think 7 wins or the Giants at like 6 and 10.
Yeah, it was something
Like
ridiculous.
that.
Yeah,
6, 10, and 1.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go with my picks, and I'll keep the weird rolling because Thursday Night Football is always weird.
Yes.
So my underdog this week is going to be the Buccaneers plus 8.5. Bucs defense is good. Their offense isn't, but their defense is. So catching the Bills with a short week, I think the defense can be effective against Josh Allen and company. And this Bills defense is bad. So even though the Bucs offense is bad, I think they can score some points to keep this relatively close. I don't know if the Bucs will win this game. I'm probably going to pick the Bills money line, but I think they'll keep it within 8.5. So I'm going Bucs to cover the spread. And then for my lock, I'm going with another big spread. I'm going back to the Lions. I will not be deterred by a 40-point loss. Minus 8.5 at home, Monday Night Football against the Raiders. And this is just like a revenge game. This Lions team is good, and they just got their asses kicked. So they're going to come back, and they're really going to want to show that, hey, we're for real. Don't mind last week. We can run the ball. We can stop the run. We're a physical, gritty football team, and they're the 2 seed in the NFC, and they want to keep that. They want to maintain their position going into their bye week. So I think it's a big bounce back spot for the Lions, just like I do USC.
I like that. And we did get a comment. We appreciate it. The Dixon Way. We'll have to check you out. Appreciate the love on the channel.
What was the line on the Lions Raiders game?
Minus 8.5 for the Lions.
Yeah, like that.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I was scared to bet on that though because
Don't be.
because I know, but I'm just like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen anymore.
The Raiders are the ultimate like get right team. It was the same
right
with the
now.
Bills at the beginning of the year when they looked. Josh Allen looked terrible against the Jets, and then he came and played the Raiders and just easy.
And after what we saw last week, like I don't know if like the Raiders know how to tackle. Like outside of Max Crosby,
Marcus Peters doesn't.
The team literally knows how to tackle. That was embarrassing. Like the way Chicago ran the ball on them. Like it was ugly.
Yeah, the Raiders look like a team that doesn't want to be on the field, and the Lions are going to have a point to prove. I love that.
It's almost as if the Raiders had a head coach, an interim head coach that like the entire roster would run through walls for, and then they fired him and hired a guy that like treats players like cattle.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw today that they're shopping Hunter Renfrow because there's like a rift between him and Josh McDaniels.
Well, they hate him.
Why would you keep Josh McDaniels in that scenario?
I know. Hunter Renfrow has 8 catches this year. He caught 100. He caught over 100 balls in 2021. Yeah, don't get us down this rabbit hole.
Just don't ever wonder anything about the Raiders because it doesn't ever make sense. It doesn't ever.
All right, and this will. All right, we'll continue on with the picks before this literally becomes Jake.
Yeah, we got it.
Ranting for an hour about the Raiders because it would happen very quickly. There's a lot of material there. All right, so I'm going to keep the weird picks going. I'm going to bet a game that nobody wants to watch. The Arthur Smith revenge game. I'm taking Atlanta -2.5 against Tennessee. The Falcons are slowly putting it together. If Desmond Ridder can stop throwing picks just a little bit, that team will be pretty good because that defense is legit. They can run the ball. They have weapons. And the quarterback does have talent. He just needs to stop throwing picks. I'm not ready to say. I think it was Brian Baldinger this week or one of the pundits said that Atlanta is a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl team. And I feel like that's a little bit of hyperbole. But I definitely feel comfortable with them covering a field goal against the Titans team that even though they're coming off a bye week, I think the Titans are one of the 5 worst teams in the NFL this year. They are crumbling, and now we're hearing about Will Levis or Malik Willis which that could get ugly quick. I like that one. And then, sorry, Casey. I know you're excited about the Niners game this week, but I am taking Bengals money line this week at +190 for my underdog. Bengals are coming off a bye, and their slow start, I think, was definitely attributed to being a little banged up. They're getting healthy. They're finding their groove. They're hitting their stride at the right time for a Niners team that is very banged up, and they're coming off a short week with the Monday Night Football game. It's horrible timing both ways. And especially if Brock Purdy doesn't play this week, I mean, I don't trust Sam Darnold at all. Even in that offense where I do think the offense kind of runs itself, I still to beat a Bengals team that's back to closer to its full strength. I like the Bengals a lot in this one, and especially at plus odds. It's just hard to pass up.
Yeah. We'll get to that. I want to talk about that one, but Dixon White did comment, and he actually has a little bit of bone to pick with you. So he says their defense is legit. The either picks or fumbles, and they have offensive talent outside the quarterback. he also said, but the Titans game smells like a trap game. He is a Falcons fan. So what do you have to say about that one, Dalton?
I mean, it's definitely a trap game, but like, I don't know. In the NFL, I don't know how much trap games exist. I feel like they're very rare. And I don't think Atlanta's good enough to have a trap game right now. I don't think they're winning enough to really be overlooking anybody. And I think the fact that this is like Arthur Smith going up against a team that he, that still had a coaching staff that he used to work with, I think that is going to add a little juice to the game. And I don't see it being a game that they sleep on.
Yeah, I agree. And thanks again, the Dixon Way, for commenting. Yes. And I like. Don't get me wrong. I think Atlanta can be a very good team. Quarterback situation, obviously, it's the big talk for all their whole fan base and the media. So I think in a couple years, that or maybe even next year. I mean, I don't know. There's some few question marks there that teams like the Chiefs, Bengals, things like that, they don't have those question marks right now. So I don't know. I think we just have to see a little bit more of them. But all
right. So last week I didn't do too much research on my NFL picks. I kind of just went with what the vibe said, and it worked. I went 2-0, so we're going to do that again this week. So first, we are taking the Chiefs minus 7.5 against the Broncos. These two teams played like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The Chiefs played a really, really, really ugly game, and I think they won 16-0, I'm pretty sure. So I think they're going to cover this pretty easily. I think they're not going to play worse than they played the first time these two teams matched up. I don't see how they don't cover this. And then for my underdog, I'm like, sorry, Casey, but with Dalton, I'm going with the Bengals money line. I got it at plus 195. I'm not sure if it went down with the Brock Purdy news, but
I'm sure it has.
Yeah, probably.
I'm gonna check it real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I got it at 190. I don't think, and that was like later in the day, yesterday.
Yeah. But
yeah. Where's that game at? That is, they're currently at plus 140. So you guys,
oh wow,
got it at a good time.
I'm glad I got it at.
Get on it, folks. 140, it's still worth betting.
I agree, and sadly, even myself was looking at that one last night.
Are you going to the game?
I know. My wife and I are freaking flying out halfway across the country.
You get to see Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I get to go see Sam Darnold. Debo's not going to be playing. Hopefully, Trent Williams is playing. I don't know, man. But I will say, at the beginning of the year, and I'll stick with this, I did want Sam Darnold to start at first. So I guess I'm going to get my wish up close and personal.
The football gods saw that and said, "You're going."
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, Brock Purdy's going to get like a delayed concussion protocol."
Yeah,
but all right, we do have our touchdown parlay. Still not hitting, but
this
we
is
have we have up until I'll give till the Super Bowl to get one of them. So we still have quite a few weeks to try to get this going.
Just one for the year.
Yeah, one for the year. But I'll get started on this. I'm going to go with Travis Etienne. I don't even want to say what I was going to say, but I just need someone right now, and he just seems like the guy. I mean, I think he's 6 or 7 touchdowns this year. I don't want to go with Christian McCaffrey because I know as soon as I pick him, he's not going to get a touchdown. So I'm going to go with Etienne Jr., especially against Steelers. I think there's not going to be a lot of scoring opportunities with that defense, so I just think they'll get lucky. He'll break one off, or they'll get close 1 or 2 yard line. He'll be able to run one in. So that's how I'm going with.
I don't know why, but you said, like, I just need someone right now. And in my head, I immediately started playing, I need a hero.
Yeah, literally.
That's you, Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
A hero. All right. So I am going to the premier quarterback battle this week. I am going to the Texans-Panthers game, and I'm going with Tank Dell for my anytime touchdown scorer. I feel like he has a really nice chemistry with C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's having a fantastic rookie season. And Dell's just coming back for an injury. He's cleared the concussion protocol, so he's good to go. I think the Panthers' secondary isn't very good. I feel it. Get him the ball. He makes things happen. He's a little pocket-sized playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
I like that pick.
Yeah. I like that.
I'm also going to keep it somewhat safe. I'm going with a Miami player because why not? The team scores a lot. However, I'm going to take Jalen Waddle to score this week. Big reason why we know going up against the Patriots, so this sport, Belichick likes to take away your best player. He's going to try to take away Tyreek Hill. Might leave more opportunities for Jalen Waddle because I think they're going to commit to stopping the run and stopping Tyreek Hill. So you might see Jalen Waddle get some one-on-ones, and I like Jalen Waddle against New England secondary in those matchups.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. To close this out, I'm going to go with Isaiah Pacheco. Same game as my lock. The Broncos' run defense is not good at all. I think they've given up the most yards in the league. They've given up the third most rushing touchdowns. Chiefs are going to move the ball pretty easily in this game. Isaiah Pacheco is probably it looks like he runs the hardest of like any running back that I've seen. So I think we got a pretty safe bet here. Hopefully help lock down our first.
Yeah, I like that. I was contemplating between Travis and Isaiah for my touchdown, so I like that. I will put this out on my Twitter probably Thursday or Friday once all the odds come in for these touchdown scores, and then I'll post the parlay with the odds. So don't worry, we will get that done. I know that basketball has kicked off. JT, I know you had a parlay tonight, and you tweeted that out on the Go Live that we sent out. And what are we looking at on that parlay?
So for my NBA parlays, I like to make them long parlays. This one I think was a 7-leg parlay, and I came up just short.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed Jimmy Butler to hit 1 3 and Jaden Ivey to have 1 more assist, and I would have hit it.
Dang.
So
all right.
Thanks for nothing, Jimmy Butler.
So thankfully for JT, we have not put our NBA records up here yet. So they will be coming. We just don't know when yet. But yeah,
I will say I'm 1-0 in my hockey best this year, though. So
yeah, okay.
I got something going.
All right, yeah. So we'll start tracking those more. Sorry for about that, guys. We'll get some basketball picks and hockey picks next week. Maybe not all of us are going to do one from each. Maybe we will. So we'll talk about that between us and figure something out. But we definitely need to start working our basketball muscle, especially when football ends. We're just going to be tons of bets for both college and NBA. So we'll definitely get that going. Now, before we end the show, do you got anyone have anything else they want to talk about? Any other bets that they like this week that they might not have discovered? I know Dalton. I'll tweet. We'll definitely repost your articles for college and NFL. But
Yeah. Wasn't a great week last week.
It's all right. If you write it down, I think it makes it a little bit better.
I think I picked two big upsets for college football last week. I picked Duke and Penn State money lines on that. Well, we got a UCLA under, so
yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do this week. It's gonna be rough. We're trying to get back in the black on those as well.
Well, we'll definitely tweet those out
right there. That's a winner.
Yeah, back in the black. Dang, that's what we should have done. We should trademark that one. But yeah. So, JT, Jake, do you guys have any other bets or anything you guys want to talk about before we end the show?
I think I'm 1 or 2 games away from hitting my futures bet in hockey of the Red Wings making the playoffs. So that's a win. Pretty sure the magic number is like 5 more points and they're in. No, they're off to a red hot start. It's super exciting that one of the teams I root for isn't a train wreck.
Did they end up winning last night? I know it went into overtime.
No, they dropped it in overtime, but they still got the point. So,
well, they were down like 3-1 or 4-1, weren't they, or something like that?
Yeah, 3-1 going into the third period. But this offense is electric. Dylan Larkin, Alex DeBrincat, Gostisbehere as a defender. They just move the puck so well, and they're just putting it in the net.
Yeah, I remember seeing it 3-1, and then I checked it like 10 minutes later, and they were up 4-3, and I was like, "What just happened?"
Yeah, we haven't seen this kind of hockey since the Steve Yzerman days as a player. This is amazing. Yeah, we are so back.
I'm glad to see Gostisbehere playing well for somebody. We didn't get that as a Flyers fan. And the Flyers are doing that thing this year where they should be tanking and should be trying to get a lottery pick, and instead they're gonna get the 7th seed and get waxed in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. My team is the only team in the NHL that hasn't won a game yet. So,
but
I want to say better than I'm already looking at the first pick. Already.
Start watching the Frozen 4.
Figure out who you're gonna get.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I'm sorry. Now's when you start seeing what 17-year-old is lighting up the KHL.
Yeah.
I'm glad basketball is back.
Yeah, me too. I know that's.
I have my Kings, the only good team that I root for.
The Beam team.
Yep.
Yeah. Like the Beam. All right. Well, that was episode 9. Next week, we'll shoot for episode 10. And I just want to thank the Dixon Way for definitely commenting, going against Dalton a little bit, putting him in his place a little bit on the Falcons. We appreciate it, man. And like I said, guys, if you want to go ahead, comment, like, whatever you guys want to do, just let us know what you think about our picks. If you have any picks that you'd like us to look at, definitely send those over. I'll have the Anytime Touchdown Parlay either later tomorrow or early Friday, and we'll tweet that out. But I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good rest of your night, and hopefully your bets hit this weekend.